takes us to Kisii County. Yes, this county lies in Kenya's Nyanza region, and it is famous for some of its legends. For example, we have Otenyo Nyamatara and Sakawa the Prophet. These two legends during Kenya's colonial regime made sure that their community was well prepared and defended in case of any attacks. It is also here that you will find the famous stone carvings and stone carvers whose beautiful sculptures have traveled all over the world. Kisii County is one of the main bread baskets of the country. Oh, they are blessed with beautiful weather and fertile lands. And they grow so many different crops. You will find chibando, maize. You will also find chingende, beans. You will find emesie, the sugarcane. And you will also find all manner of traditional vegetables. You have enderema, you have risosa, you have chinsaga. Yes, this place is really blessed. We cannot forget the wide variety of amatoke, bananas, that are a trademark of this beautiful county. My personal favorite, amatoke amatovu, ripe bananas. Like most of Kenyan households, ugali, or as they call it, obokima, is a favorite dish in many homes in this Kisii County. But it has not always been like this. No. In fact, it is said that long ago, one of the dishes that they would prepare was some kind of porridge. They would take a pot of cold water, add some flour, and mix. And they would serve this. They would also serve amavere, fresh milk, and sometimes amavere amarurano, sour milk. Yes, they love their food cold. It is not that fire had not yet been invented, no. But the Abagusi community was afraid of using fire, for they believed that if they ate something hot, then it would burn their intestines and they would die from the inside out. So, how come they prepare ugali as they do it now? Come closer and I will share this story with you. It is said that in those days, there lived a man whose name was Nyangweso. Nyangweso lived with his wife, Kemonto, a wife that he so dearly loved. Unfortunately, after many years of marriage, they had not been blessed with a child of their own. And as you can imagine, this brought a lot of pressure, not just from the community and friends, but from their families as well.
Momurone. Tinga kijiachire.
Nyangweso's parents especially complained every now and then that they were growing old, the time was going on, and they still had not seen any grandchildren. And although he tried to talk to them, telling them that they were trying, that he and Kemonto were doing everything they could to get babies, the parents complained more and more. And this pressure was becoming too much for him. And he knew that he had to talk with his wife. He knew that he and Kemonto, once they put their heads together, they could find solutions for any problem, just as they had done over so many years of marriage. It was after one of Nyangweso's visits to his parents that Kemonto realized that something was changing. He looked tired, he looked scared, he looked like he had a lot in his mind. And she knew that she had to talk to him.
Omogaka. Na kibona okoreka no susane teiga. Inkie kebe.
Kemuntu umwanchione kurutu akanyuomanete chinga kiching'ana na kichaite nomanyete ng'ati mbwatiriete ase ngoeta nomaete amang'ana ngotebi kaingochia mbise omotu amakera oroki ebigori biane bagisangi bane igo babwate abana abande abachukuru indikana inche ngorokwa omonto
omogaka nomaete ng'a atari ogwancha kwana omonguru atarataseseni na abana onye nogotema twatemire yasinire onye na emesinyonto nanyure onye na amasara namenire onye nokogenda ng'ombwari omosiara natemire lakini yasinire omogaka nakoire ribaga leta moibori ominto atonyorera abana nanchira bera abe omogoko oneke nanakora abana bakona kumnyoka sikoga
Kemuntu mbia mono mong'ina ase ogonteia amang'ana ayo naigure buna gwantebire nonye ninche enkoro yane yateremire baba naye babondereire kwa echiabo bang'i mariko chiangire nkwachi chimokeiri nechinduba magega moronge osesenibu baba osesenibu.
It was a long and difficult conversation. And finally, Kemuntu made a hard decision. If nothing else seemed to work, then Nyangweso, yes, her husband, should marry another woman. Who knows? God might be gracious and bless them with children through this other woman, and they would not have to spend their old age alone with nobody to warm their compound. And so it was that a younger wife, Bosibori, joined the homestead. Kemuntu was glad, and she welcomed Bosibori with open arms. And indeed, after a few months, Bosibori got pregnant, and the three of them celebrated the good news. Yes, Kemuntu did everything she could to make the younger woman's pregnancy more comfortable. She cooked, she cleaned, she doted over the younger woman, excited about the pregnancy, almost as if it was her own baby. As for Nyangweso, oh, he was happier than all of them combined. He made sure that every small need that Bosibori had was taken care of, bending his back over to cater for any craving that the pregnancy induced. He would spend long evenings at her house, rubbing her feet, her neck, her back, anything that the wife asked. He was finally going to be a father, and this, above all, made him extremely happy. And as for Bosibori, oh, she glowed in all this attention. She loved that Nyangweso was at her beck and call. And this is exactly where trouble began. Bosibori, the younger wife, began looking down on Kemuntu. After all, had she not done within months what Kemuntu had been unable to do in years? First, she began refusing to eat food cooked by Kemunto, insisting that the child in her belly could only eat food cooked by the dad-in-waiting. Then, she began wailing uncontrollably anytime Nyangweso left to spend some time with the first wife. And this went on to a point where, if Kemunto entered the house, Bosibori would walk out. And if they met within the compound, she would spit at Kemunto as they passed. And slowly, Kemunto began to wonder. The joy she had felt when Bosibori had come to the compound, when the news of the pregnancy had been brought, slowly began turning into irritation. And the irritation grew into anger. And the anger gave birth to envy. If Bosibori was behaving like this now, how much worse would she get once the baby came? Kemunto wondered. It so happened that war broke out between Nyangweso's clan and a neighboring clan, and he had no choice but to join the other warriors to go to the fight. But before he left, he instructed Kemunto that she should take utmost care of Bosibori and the new child that was going to come soon. And indeed, not long after this, Bosibori delivered a bouncing baby boy. The envy in Kemunto's heart was indescribable. And as the days went by, she grew more and more worried that the rights, the privileges that she enjoyed as Nyangweso's first wife would not be transferred to Bosibori. Kemunto knew just how happy their husband Nyangweso would be when he came back and found the baby in Bosibori's arms. And as the days progressed, so did Bosibori's disrespect and ridicule. And as Kemunto went through the days, she remembered how she had become a laughingstock in the community for her lack of a child. And she knew that something had to change. Yes, something had to be different. Bosibori had to go. Bosibori and her child had to go. But how? She thought and thought and thought, and finally came up with an idea. That afternoon, when she went to prepare a meal for Bosibori, she did not just take cold water and add flour and stir the mixture. No. For the very first time in the Nyangweso household, a fire was made. Yes, she made a fire out of wood, took a pot of water, put it on the fire, and waited for the water to get hot. And when the water was hot, she took some flour and put it inside and stirred. And in the pot, a strange mixture was coming up. Thicker, much thicker than what she had been used to. Then she put this hot of strange food on the side. And then she fried some chinsaga, heating it to the hottest degree the wood fire couldn't take without burning the food to charcoal, and served this hot food to Bosibori. And as you can imagine, Bosibori was a nursing woman and she was extremely hungry, so she just looked at the strange food, but the hunger in her stomach could not wait, so she ate and ate and ate and ate. As she ate, sweat began trickling from her head, down her cheeks, down her back, and the more she ate, the more sweat dripped down her body. And then, immediately after, she fell asleep. Kemunto waited. She knew that soon her mission would be accomplished. So you can imagine her shock when a few hours later, Bosibori woke up, still covered in sweat, but alive. Maybe I didn't heat the food enough, she thought. And so, when she next prepared a meal, she didn't just let the water heat up. No, she let it boil and boil and boil. And when it was really nicely boiled, she put flour and stirred and soon a thick dough was forming, and a smell of the cooking food could be smelled throughout the compound. And she served this hot dough to Bosibori, who just like before ate, happily enjoying herself. Kemunto could not believe her eyes when yet again Bosibori woke up, healthy and alive, after eating such a hot meal. And so it was that one hot meal after another, Bosibori appeared to be healthier, happier, stronger. And was it her imagination? Or did Bosibori even start looking forward to the meals that Kemunto was serving her over time? As time progressed and months went by, finally, Nyangweso came back. And you can imagine the happiness in his face, the happiness in his heart when he saw Bosibori and their child in her arms. Nyangweso was happy to see Bosibori healthy and strong, and the child as well. And he congratulated Kemunto for taking such good care of the mother and child. And Bosibori too, contrary to her previous character, indeed told Nyangweso about the strange meal that Kemunto had been feeding her and how she had been enjoying it. Nyangweso was surprised. Strange meal that was as good as Bosibori was saying. He too wanted to have the meal. Kemunto was confused. What was she going to do? What if her husband's intestines were weaker than Bosibori's, and as such, if he ate the food, he would die? Should she disobey him? What would she do? It was with a heavy heart that she went to the kitchen. Made a fire, put a pot of water on it, waited for the water to boil, put the flour and stirred into the thick mixture, the dough that she was now used to serving. With fear in her heart, she served her husband the strange meal. Just like had happened to Bosibori. As he ate, he began to sweat, sweat covering his whole body. And as soon as he was done with the food, he too fell asleep. But he woke up, alive. Well, this made Kemunto quite curious. And the next time she prepared this strange meal, she too took a few mouthfuls. And she was surprised to find how delicious this food was. And of course, as the days passed by, every now and then, Nyangweso or Bosibori would ask to be fed the strange meal. As time went by, Kemunto realized that there was no love lost between her and her husband. Yes, it was the old Nyangweso once again, showering her with love, even as much as he did the same with Bosibori and the baby. Always there to defend her in case any busybody in the village tried to disrespect her. And she began feeling guilty. And the guilt ate her from the inside out until she felt as if she would burst. Well, a change of heart was happening in Bosibori as well. And one afternoon, as they were sitting down, having enjoyed a nice meal of this strange food that had now become a delicacy in the Nyangweso household, Bosibori spoke out. She apologized for all the mean things, the ridicule that she had shown Kemunto. For she had come to realize that Kemunto did not wish her any bad. This apology from Bosibori was the last straw that broke Kemunto's back. She began crying, tears rolling down her face, as she explained how she had come to discover this new meal that the household had come to love so much. There was tension in the air as each one of them digested the full weight of what had just happened. Nyangwesa was really angry at this. But he put himself in Kemunto's shoes and realized that it was true. He had barely given her any attention since Bosibori got pregnant. He had not even defended her when the village busybodies were spewing bitter words about her, especially after the pregnancy. And truth be told, all of them had come to love this strange, delicious meal that Kemunto prepared for them. The three of them talked, and they agreed to start together on a clean slate and move together as a family. And of course, this meal that Kemunto was preparing had spread word all over the community. And they all spoke about this delicious aroma that would come out of the Nyangwesa compound anytime this strange meal was being cooked. And they would come in, one after another, to learn the trick of this new food that they would call Kemunto style. And it was Nyangwesa who said that this new food, Kemunto style, would have a new name. Yes, it would be called Kemunto's obokima. And so it has been to this day. Well, the name Kemunto might have faded over time, and this story might not be as common now as it used to be then. But the name obokima remains to this very day. And so they say, when you go to Kisii County, you might just hear them saying, it is envy that led people to know how to cook ugali. So they say,
kontu mem. Tinggal cantik. Laron dana. Ngora. Ngoro, kau minta